Hello and welcome to Blessed Beyond Measure. Today's episode is going to be in continuation to last the 2 weeks ago, where I was sharing all about homeschooling in New Jersey. You are going to see you're going to see a picture of me and you're going to see me on video. And that's because I am coming through via Zoom because I'm going to share my screen so that we can go over some more frequently asked questions with the answers for you to be fully ready if you are contemplating on becoming a homeschooling parent here in New Jersey. Stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. Once again, my name is Ingrid, and this here is my channel that's dedicated to homeschool, home life, vlogging, and everything that has to do with motherhood. So if this is your first time watching me, thank you so much for being here. Make sure that at the end of this video, you subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted to whenever a new video is uploaded. I will be sharing a video every other Monday. Here on this channel is what works best for me. Normally, I will release the video anytime between 3 and 6, and I'm sorry for the lack of consistency in that area with a specific time. I'm still trying to find my way in handling and managing 2 videos on top of everything else that's going on. But I want to make sure that the information that I bring to you is information that is truly going to help you. It's going to help to develop your homeschool, and it's going to bring some ease for any doubts or questions that you may have when it comes to homeschooling your child in the state of New Jersey. So last week, we covered some really great questions. Okay, it was about 7 questions. It was covering the statutory requirements regarding compulsory education, what case laws exist pertaining to homeschooling here in New Jersey, what is the responsibility of the local school board regarding compulsory education, under what circumstances will a parent or a guardian of a child required to inform the school local board of education of the intent on homeschooling his or her child other than at school. We also covered, is the local board of education required to review and approve curriculum for the child educated elsewhere other than school. Also, may the parent and or guardian of a child educated elsewhere other than a school request information regarding curriculum from the local board of education. And then we finally stopped in, is the local board of education required to establish for a child educated, establish a record of your child if they're educated other than at school. You can check that video out. I'll put it up on the iCard. And I also created a playlist of how to homeschool in New Jersey, so it's easier for you to find. And share this information with your friends or family members, church members, co-workers who are thinking about homeschooling. So today we're going to pick up where we left off, and I'm going to share and toggle between sharing my screen and then stopping just for the easiness when I am in discussion. So today's question, the first one that I want to focus on is, who is responsible for a child educated elsewhere than at school when the child is taught by a person other than the parent, or when the child takes a correspondence course or a web-based program? So the parent or guardian of the child educated elsewhere other than at school are solely responsible for any program selected. The state or local board of education is not required or authorized to approve the selected program. That is totally going to be up to you. In later videos, I will share all different types of programs, curricula, web-based programs, co-ops that you can test, research to see if it will be a good fit for your family. But at the end of the day, you will be responsible for selecting which program, which curricula, which online program, schooling, whatever you decide to do. It is your responsibility. It is at your discretion. The local Board of Education, they're not required to authorize it or approve it. It's all up to you. The parent and guardian may work directly with any teacher or host school administrator regarding the program, but they are not required to do so. So you don't need any requirements when it comes to selecting the materials that you're going to use with your child. The next question is a parent or guardian or persons teaching the child elsewhere than at school required to be certified as a teacher in the state of New Jersey? A parent or guardian or persons teaching a child other than at school is not required by law to be certified as a teacher in the state of New Jersey. Now, that's good, right? Because that means that we don't have to go back to college to earn a teaching's degree. But I will suggest, as a homeschooling parent to a young girl, and I started back when I was in second grade, some of the easier grades will be easy to facilitate and to provide the education for your child. But once you start getting maybe to like middle school years, upper middle school years, high school years, some of the subjects may be challenging. So I would suggest, just like any other teacher in a classroom, they have to not only become certified, and I'm not telling you to become certified, but what I am saying is to educate yourself, learn. So, even if you have to do workshops, online workshops, reading, finding material that's going to help you to better impart and facilitate that information to your child, because it can become overwhelming if you yourself are not adequately prepared to teach a specific subject. So later on down the line, I will also share more information about that. But don't feel like you're not capable, because you are more than capable. And sometimes you may have to get some outside help for specific subjects, such as like math or science, history, reading. It all depends on your teaching style. And don't feel bad about that. Plenty of teachers in a public school setting and even in a private school setting, they don't teach all of the subjects. That's why your students switch and change classes, because they have a specific teacher for a specific subject. And so when you have to take upon all of that responsibility, it can be scary. It can be overwhelming. It can feel like you're not going to be able to do this, and those doubts will creep in. But I'm here to tell you that you are more than capable of doing it. And there is plenty of outside resources that you can utilize to help your child in a specific subject where you may be lacking and may not be able to provide that part of the that component that your child needs. Oh, there's always a way to fill in those gaps. So please don't feel like, well, because I suck at this and I suck at that, maybe it's not a good idea for me to homeschool my child. I believe that you can do it, and I am here to help you in finding those options that will make it doable for you. The next question is the local Board of Education required to allow a child educated elsewhere than at school to participate in the regular school curriculum or in extracurricular or sports activities? Now, this is a question that I get from a lot of homeschooling families out there that are new to homeschooling. And this is a question that they pose all the time, because once your child is homeschooled, now you have to find the added resources, extracurricular activities, and those sports activities for your child to join. And it can be challenging for parents to find those specific programs. So for curricular and extracurricular activities, a Board of Education may, but is not required by law, to allow a child educated elsewhere other than at school to participate in curricular and extracurricular activities or sports activities. Before deciding to do so, however, a Board of Education may wish to consult with its attorney to consider the full implications of such participation. So when it comes to curricular and extracurriculars, including sports, it's not completely off the table. It will be at the discretion of the Board of Education. So depending on the district where you live, they may say yes and they may say no. But I know that in the state of New Jersey, there are so many sports activities outside of the schools that are sponsored by organizations so that the inner youth and city youth and urban and suburban and all these other areas, the students can benefit from sports activities and extracurricular activities. You may also want to check your local library and other agencies within your area that may provide such programs that will help your child to kind of participate and take advantage of these services. Okay, so there's plenty of things out there that you can do with your child that you don't necessarily have to rely on the Board of Education or your local school district. When it comes to textbooks, a Board of Education may, but is not under no obligation to loan books or materials to a child educated elsewhere other than at school. So if you find yourself probably just having a little bit of financial hardship, you're not able to purchase all of the materials that you need to homeschool, and you feel that maybe reaching out to the Board of Education for them to kind of like help you with some of the materials, again, it will be up to their discretion. But I'm here to tell you that there are plenty of places where you can homeschool for free. Homeschool does not have to be expensive. It starts to get expensive if you fall for a lot of the trends that are out here. And I love YouTube, and I love a lot of the homeschooling channels that provide their information. But I'm going to be honest with you, there are also a lot of homeschool channels that are a lot of just fluff. They show you all of the beauty, all of the pretty things, all of the Pinterest pictures of what a homeschool should look like, but it's not. It's not the realities. It's not, it's a beautiful, homeschool is beautiful. It allows you to bond with your children and to teach them and to really focus on their interests. But it can also have frustrations that come with it and reluctance from your child wanting to learn and you adapting to now this new role. So there's a lot of things that come with it. So don't get sucked in by the fluff. When you are looking and doing your research, don't get sucked in. I see a lot of homeschooling families also always switching from curriculum and programs and creating these beautiful homeschooling spaces, which is beautiful, but sometimes many families don't have that space. So you have to work with what you have. And so I will discuss that at a later time with you, but homeschooling can be inexpensive and still have a nice quality of the education that you bring your child. I didn't mean to go off in a ramble, but I had to put that out there because it's so easy to get sucked in into buying so many different supplies, so many different materials, so many different things that sometimes you don't even get to use it because you don't need all of that stuff. And so as this channel continues to progress, I hope that I am able to answer those questions for you as well on how you can homeschool your child. The next part is county shared time vocational schools. Okay, so I'm going to look down in my notes and I'm going to read exactly what it says under that bullet because the letters are too small for me. So a vocational board of education should adopt a non-discriminatory policy regarding a child educated elsewhere than at school. If a parent child is a resident of the county, the child educated at home may apply on an annual basis to the county vocational school. The county vocational school may permit the child being educated elsewhere than at school to attend a shared shared time county vocational school to the extent that space is available according to the NJAC 643-3.11b. Now, once a child educated elsewhere than at school is enrolled in a shared time vocational program, now this is where you need to pay attention, and this is where the line from homeschooling is now crossed back into the public school system, because once you enroll your child, and even though it's for a time shared space only, the child then becomes a public school student and is entitled to the payment of tuition through the resident district. So yes, you may get those benefits, but now you no longer have that control of what your child is taught, how they're going to be taught. And so this is where you will have to, if you are a family of faith, where you are want to come together in prayer and you want to have discussions and you want to make sure that this is what you want for your child. When it comes to vocation, you can also, that can also be part of your homeschool program. In fact, a lot of the homeschool programs that are out there now are adding this component to their curriculum, because it is important. We are homeschooling our children, and we know that we're not homeschooling them forever. And there will be a time that our children will continue and transition from homeschool to college or from homeschool into the workplace. And in addition to educating our children, we also want to make sure that we prepare them and prepare them with career readiness so that they're able to step out into the workplace and will be successful. Now, when it pertains to special education services, in accordance with the Federal Special Education Law, Individuals and Disabilities Education Act, PL 108-446-612, the Board of Education must ensure that all children with disability residing in the state, including children with disabilities attending private schools, regardless of the severity of the disability and who are in need of special education and related services, are identified, located, and evaluated. Okay, now this is an area that I am not too familiar with because I don't need these specific services, but they can also apply to homeschoolers as well. So this is where you would, again, this information is from that I'm reading to you and that I am sharing with you as part of the New Jersey Board of Education. And these are frequently asked questions that a lot of people may have, and they provide the answers to. Just like the Board of Education in the state of New Jersey has their attorneys for them to go and ask questions and make sure that they consider all of the full implications about all of these areas, it is important that you also have representation. And this is why a lot of homeschooling families, such as myself, will sign up with the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, also known as the HSLDA. And so you may want to go check out their website and sign up for membership, and you can further ask questions regarding to the special education services that you may need when you decide to homeschool your child with special needs. So the next question is a child educated elsewhere than at school eligible to participate in district state testing? So when it comes to standardized testing, the state of New Jersey and the local Board of Education is not required or authorized to test a child educated elsewhere than at school. The local Board of Education does not have to ensure through testing or another mechanism that instruction is being appropriately delivered or achieving its desired effect. To review the quality of instruction or to monitor the results. A child educated elsewhere than at school is not required to sit for a state or district standardized test. However, this does not mean that you as a parent can initiate that standardized test, okay? However, in order for you to do a certain test here in the United States, not the United States, so you do not have to have your child tested if you choose not to. And when it comes to standardized testing, this is such a controversial topic and one that can be open up for discussion in a later video. The pros and cons of standardized testing, However, looking at it through a positive lens, you can use it to determine where your child is so that you can help to fit in those gaps. But more on that later. But you are not required to have your child tested at any time, nor they have the authority to have your child tested. However, there is a but, which the but goes along with this next question. How will grade placement be determined for a child educated elsewhere other than at school who returns to school? Or if you've been homeschooling all this time and now you need to put your child and enroll them into school because, there's a life change and you may need to go to work and you don't have the childcare or you can no longer provide homeschool instruction. This is what the state of New Jersey says. When a child returns to school following a period of homeschooling, the local Board of Education treats the child as any other new or returning child, which they can fall under assessed as to the acceptance of credits and the appropriate grade level for purposes of placement. There are no special provisions made for the child who was educated at home. Placement should be based on an objective assessment that is given to all students for that subject or grade. In assessing the child educated elsewhere than at school, the child may not be held to a higher standard than similarly situated students within the district or transferring from other public or non-public schools. Also, if a child educated elsewhere than at school re-enrolls in the public school in order to obtain a high school diploma, an assessment is made as to the child's compliance with state and local requirements, as the Board of Education would with any new and returning student, since no diploma can be issued when such requirements are not met. A determination on a student's grade placement may include scores on the state assessments applicable to the proposed grade of entry. Okay, so if you decide to put your child in school, then they will fall under the standardized tests for placement purposes and to see if they meet the state standard to receive a high school diploma. And so, there you have it, my friends. If you want your child, once they reach those high school years, like myself, and I'm going to discuss a little bit more about that. In my first video, I shared the transition from homeschool to high school to back to homeschool. But if you decide that homeschooling is, you're limited and you need to enroll your child, and you want them to earn that high school diploma, your child will have to go into the homeschool system if you choose to go that route. And then they will have to go through these standardized tests and they will have to meet the high school proficiency assessment, which is called the HSPA. However, because so many parents have decided to homeschool their children in the state of New Jersey, there are a lot of dual enrollment programs that a lot of local colleges and other universities and, state colleges are allowing for homeschool students to come in, earn 30 college credits and their high school diploma, not a GED. Also, a GED is also another route. So if you have any other questions regarding that, please let me know. I hope that you have found this information useful. That is going to conclude all of this part of how to homeschool in New Jersey. Of course, I'm going to have more information on this, but basically these are the frequently asked questions. And I hope that it brings you a little bit more clarity and understanding on how to homeschool in New Jersey. Make sure to come back again in 2 weeks where I am going to share more about homeschooling, and I will check you out in the next video, guys. Have a blessed day. Bye.